BookTube. I'm here today to do a TBR for Middle Grade March. I will leave a link in the description below to all of the wonderful hosts. I know there's several prompts for this readathon, but I'm just going to go off of my physical books as well as some books I have on my radar and some Newbery books because some of you know, I've been following my channel for a while. Last year I set myself like a New Year's resolution or challenge in a way of reading the Newbery Prize books and honors or runners-up books from the beginning of the prize, 1922, all the way to present day in chronological order. And so I am currently in the 1940s, and I need to make some headway here because I gave myself like a 3-year kind of cuff. And it could take 4 years the rate I'm going, but since the push is for middle grade books, I thought I would, instead of because I tend to read like 1 or 2 a month, and that's not going to get me anywhere. Like I need to be reading like at least a year in 1 year, of the Newbery Prize in a month. And so I thought I'd go ahead and read 3 years worth. And so I've selected 10 books for that. I think it'll bring me up to like 1948 or maybe 1950. Somewhere around there. But so those books, I'm not really going to go in depth on these because I have 16 books that I'm going to be reading for middle grade March. But if I have any comments here and there, then I will, of course, let you know. So this first one is Johnny Tremaine, A Story of Boston in Revolt by Esther Forbes. And I have read this author before. She wrote, was it Paul Revere's Ride? Paul Revere biography, something like that. A couple of years ago, and I really enjoyed that biography. I've only read the one biography of Paul Revere, but I liked the narrative style of it, and you really felt a sense of time and place. And so I think, I'm not sure which order she wrote these, if this was first or the other one, but yeah, I'm hoping that this will also have that really strong Boston Revolutionary War kind of setting and feel. So we'll see how that one goes. And then Fog Magic by Julia L. Sawyer. It's kind of like a somber cover. There's like a lighthouse and boats. But hey, I don't know anything about this book, so I'm just showing you the picture here. And then I have Rufus M. by Eleanor S. And I've read, I think, 2 other, let's say turn it down a bit so you can see some, it has the white cover, 2 other books in this series by this author because they were previous either Newbery winners or honor books. And so this is the 3rd book, I believe, and she's written, I think, quite a few other books. And this is following the family through their, dealing with poverty or, and also them, growing up and making friends with the neighborhood children. And so Rufus, he was in the previous book, and he was like the annoying kind of little brother, and so he seems to be the main character here. So we'll see what kind of hijinks he gets up to. And then I have Rabbit Hill by Robert Lawson, and this is quite the cover. I don't know, can the rabbit fly above the town? I don't know, but it looks like he's doing that right here, so we'll see. I'm hoping that it isn't like the rabbit is the talking character, because I hate that kind of the talking cartoon animal. I really do not like that. And this, I don't know, maybe it's because in school I read what was it? I'm completely blanking. Watership Down. I read that, and that had the the main characters were the rabbits, and they had to learn talking voices. And it's been a long time since I read it, so maybe I need to reread that and give it another second chance. But I remember when I first read it, I was like, oh, I don't like this, so we'll see. But yeah, who knows, I might like this book. But yeah, I'm hoping it doesn't have that. Then I have The 100 Dresses by Eleanor S. And yeah, I think this author, she wrote, it's the same one as Rufus M. So she has 2 Newbery winners back to back. It might be the 2 different years, because I have 3 years worth of books here for the prize. But yeah, I really like this cover, and it seems to be a departure in a way from the children's series that includes Rufus M. And then I have Strawberry Girl by Lois Linski, and I've read a couple of her books as well for the prize. And her previous books focused on different areas of the United States and kind of like their history in a way. And so this one maybe it's about a region in America that was historically known for growing strawberries, but we'll see. I'm just like projecting there on what I think it would be. And then I have Justin Morgan, Had a Horse by Marguerite Henry, illustrated by Wesley Dennis. And I know as a kid, I always loved reading about horses, and so yeah, I can see how I think a lot of kids would enjoy this. And then I have The Heavenly Tenets by William Maxwell, and this is quite the cover. It looks kind of like one of those like old style paintings, or like one of those kind of like tapestries. And so yeah, we'll see what this one. It looks like maybe like a farm. That was what I'm thinking. And then I have the Avion, My Uncle Flew by Cyrus Fisher. I like this cover as well. And The 21 Balloons by William Pendubois. And I was watching Kayla's channel's Books and Lala. She read and reviewed this book a couple of weeks ago or a couple months ago. And I remember like she was kind of like very meh on this one. So we'll see what I think of it. I have no inkling on the story really, outside of what she was talking about in her review. And then, so those were all my Newbery books, and there was 10 of those. And so now I'm going to books I had on hold at my library. I thought, okay, I'm going to for sure focus on those while I have them. And this one is How to Make Friends with the Sea by Tanya Guerrero. And this is about a boy who, his parents are divorced, and his mom and him are moving around all over the place, and then they land in the Philippines. And his mom is a zoologist, and so she either adopts or fosters a little girl. And so he has developed, I'm not sure due to the divorce or due to moving around, or maybe just naturally he's dealing with a lot of anxiety. And so when his mom introduces the little girl to him, he kind of puts aside his fears to focus on helping her, because I think she has a hair lip or something, and so like she's dealing with some kind of like physical disformity or a handicap or something, where he has to not focus on himself, but help others. So we'll see what this one's about. And then I have Hollowpox: The Hunt for Morgan Crow by Jessica Townsend. And this is the third book in her series, and I've enjoyed all of them so far. It's the Nevermore series. And the one thing that I'm a bit like, not apprehensive, but I'm like, kind of like weird timing with the pandemic is pox. So I'm like, is there like a disease going to be like spreading throughout this like magical world or through the school? But we'll see. And then I have, speaking of horses, like I'll talk about that Justin Morgan book, The Black Stallion by Walter Farley. I was scrolling through Instagram one day, and I saw one of the people I follow they posted a picture of all of the books in the series, and I didn't realize, I think it was like something like 10 or 12 books in the series, and I've only read, I think, the first 3, and I didn't go any farther than that way back in like middle school when I read these. And so yeah, it prompted me to pick up this book and read it again. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then for my physical books that I pulled from my shelves, the first one is one that I've just recently purchased. This is Bound for Oregon by Jean Van Leeuwen. And so I saw this in the store, and I just moved to Oregon, and I did that long drive, and so yeah, I thought this would be fun to read. I really like reading historical fiction, and this is about a little girl who moved from Arkansas, the 2,000 miles across the Oregon territory. And so yeah, we'll see what this one is like. I'm hoping it isn't, I don't know, like too depressing, or there's too much like disease or death along the way, because I know, statistically, like, yeah, like what the ordeal was like along the Oregon Trail, but yeah, I'm sure for a middle grade book, it should be light on that, if there's any in there. And then I have Little House on Rocky Ridge by Roger Leah McBride. I thought I would go ahead and continue kind of like reading the Little House books, because last month I was reading the Little House. I was participating in the Little House Readathon that Elizabeth over at Lizzie Bay Loves Books was hosting. And so I thought, because I haven't read any of the Rose years, and so this is the first one that I picked up, first in the series that I picked up 2 months ago. So yeah, let's tackle some of my books. I mean, I don't have that many, but I do own some that, yeah, I sure have unread books, so I want to read this one. And then I have a Phyllis A. Whitney book, Secret of the Samurai Sword. And I used to really like reading Phyllis A. Whitney, and I haven't read any in probably well over a decade. But I got this book from a little free library like 6 months ago or so, and I saw that name. I was like, oh, I remember reading her, so I'm gonna pick this up and see. It's maybe like set in Japan. The Ghost of Kyoto is what it's about. Siblings, they arrive in Japan and they're on vacation, but they find themselves involved in a strange Japanese mystery. They awaken to a ghost in the garden. So yeah, we'll see what this one is like. So those are all the 16 books, I believe, that are on my TBR, along with all my mammoths, and then I have my mystery books. So I am going to be super duper busy in March, but I'm going to have lots of fun reading. Let me know if you're going to be participating in Middle Grade March, or if you have read these books. But yeah, let me know. Thanks. I'll see you soon, BookTube.